All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, my buddy Paul Esden just did an awesome article on a potential Aaron Rodgers update. It'll be linked down below in the description box, along with all of Paul's links. But basically, Mike Greenberg hopped on the Pat McAfee show, and I wanted to read off a couple of quotes. When the topic of Rodgers came up, he said that I can tell you what I've heard. I've heard that Aaron has sent signals to the Jets that there's no reason for them to rush, that he's not coming until May anyway, so they're not missing out on anything right now. So they should hold out as long as it takes, and that ultimately they won't wind up having to trade the 13th overall pick, which is what I think this ultimately comes down to. So assuming what Greenberg is hearing is true here, and that Rodgers isn't going to be showing up till May, so he's, giving signs to the Jets saying, hey, you know what? Just take your time. Don't rush it. Do not trade the 13th overall pick. Because I'm not going to be here anyway. There's no rush to get me in by whatever it is, April 17th for the offseason training program. I'm not coming anyway. I think it makes all the sense in the world, obviously, right? Why would the Jets rush, dive into something head first, potentially giving up more assets than they would need to in a different situation to get a guy in the building who's not going to show up for, that section of the offseason program, right? Makes zero sense whatsoever. As far as a potential tampering thing, because again, technically Rodgers is still a member of the Packers, can he just have, an open dialogue with the Jets, like do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that? I'm not 100% sure. Greenberg says, he's sending signals to the Jets. For me, that should have been discussed in the meeting, right? When, Woody, Joe Douglas, Saleh, and Hackett flew out to California, that should have been one of the topics, right? If this goes down, when are you planning on showing up, right? Because this has been a pretty big storyline. Some would say an issue, some would argue an issue in the past with Green Bay, that he doesn't show up for what he doesn't think is necessary. And it is what it is. People agree with him, people don't agree with him. But the bottom line is, if he's going to be a member of the Jets and he's not going to be showing up, then don't rush into a trade. Here's another quote from Greenberg. He said, I think this is all about the Jets wanting to draft an offensive tackle at spot number 13 and Aaron Rodgers wanting them to draft an offensive tackle at 13. I would want that too if I was Rodgers. They will just hold out until the draft, and they think the Packers will eventually say, we'll take slightly less than what we want because we want pieces to put around or in front of Jordan Love this year and not wait until next year. I think that, to me, especially that second part, is kind of the mindset that I'm operating with right now. When I'm looking at Jordan Love, I want to make sure, I want to have a clear picture by the end of the year on whether or not we should build around him, right? Does this guy have the potential to be a franchise quarterback? Will we see enough year one? My fear, if I was a Packer fan, is getting to the end of the year and saying, oh, you know what? We saw flashes. We like some things. We didn't like some things, but we do know we didn't have enough help offensively. We really lack this position, or we really lack depth there. Wish we had more weapons to see what Love could do. The Packers now have this opportunity. Let's face it, they haven't made any sort of major free agent signings. Like I'm talking about, they haven't handed out that $15 million annual contract to anybody. They haven't pulled off some mega deal trade or anything like that. They've really focused on re-signing a bunch of their own players, and they lost a bunch of players too, right? Dean Lowry to the Vikings, Alan Lazard to the Jets, Jaron Reed to the Seahawks. Robert Tonyan is another guy. He signed a contract with the Chicago Bears. Adrian Amos is still out in the free agency market. It just doesn't really seem like the Packers are completely in that win now mode. It's Super Bowl or bust. We have to win the NFC North. It just seems like Green Bay's, although they have a bunch of nice young pieces, and I do like the overall direction that Green Bay's going in, it just seems like they're in a bit of a reloading process as of right now. And to, if it's 100% clear within the organization that Love is going to be the guy moving forward, and we want to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. That's why we're in this situation in the first place, because Rodgers doesn't want to play for the Packers because he got word that Green Bay wants to move on from Jordan Love. So, it's one strange situation. It's been extremely drawn out. But, if the focus here is offensive tackle at spot number 13, I don't think the Jets can go wrong. Yes, when we look at it from like a Madden perspective, just names on paper perspective, Mekhi Becton, Dwayne Brown, Max Mitchell, AVT can, play some tackle if you really need him to. And, of course, there's still some, guys out in the free agency market. We're fine at tackle, but I think it just, when we factor in the injury history and age for some of these guys, it's just too risky to trade draft picks, land a 39-year-old quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, pay him a ton of money, not have a complete team around him, and roll out an offensive line that's extremely thin. To me, it just makes it, I want this thing to be bulletproof. And I've said this, in a couple videos now. And I get it. It's football. It's a contact sport. Guys get hurt and you can't get everything you want. Completely understand that. But if the goal here is offensive tackle, offensive line at 13, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. That's been my number one choice, my ideal route that I want the Jets to travel down on draft night since the end of the season. I know Becton is here. I know we have Dwayne Brown and whatnot. Like, I get it completely. But, man, if we have an opportunity to go out and land a franchise left tackle, a franchise right tackle, at spot number 13, get somebody who's rock solid that we can count on, that we can really build around moving forward, there's not many red flags or question marks. Like, again, sign me up. Paris Johnson Jr., Peter Skoronski, he provides versatility as well. Broderick Jones, he's the guy that has been getting mocked to the Jets a ton over the last month or two. If the Jets wanted to trade back from spot number 13, you can target like a Darnell Wright, right tackle from Tennessee, Anton Harrison from Oklahoma. Like, there's a lot of offensive. Osiris Torrance, one of my favorite players in the draft from Florida. John Michael Smith, center from Minnesota, second round potentially if he's there. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here for the Jets to solidify this offensive line. So again, assuming Greenberg is getting fed the truth here, right, what he's hearing is correct, then I am 100% for it. If Rodgers isn't showing up by April, then why rush into, a trade? And from Green Bay's perspective, I do think it's smart to just trade Aaron Rodgers before June 1st. You're getting rid of the headache. You're taking on this bigger cap hit, yes, but you're going to be done with it. You have to pay the money either way. The question is, do I want to pay it off all this year, or do I want to split it up between 2 seasons, and have it drag into 2024 where that cap number actually goes up from what it would drop down to this season? Just get done with it, right? Get the picks, or get a potential pick this year, get a potential pick next year, maybe even a player as well. Who knows how, what that situation is looking like, and just move forward with Love. I think if I was a Packers fan, that's really what I would be shooting for as of right now. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.